Oh, my bad, my bad. First is gonna be The Rock. I'm gonna read this article. Oh, my bad, my bad. First is gonna. Okay, this is it. Nobody was stopping anybody in that one. Ruthless on The Rock and the overall obligation with former inter champion. This is a part two. The Rock is one of the most successful WWE superstars in history. He's also a top name of Hollywood's today, Hollywood. You know that's the clone Rock. Apart from portraying a tough guy on screen, Dwayne Johnson also had a reputation of being someone you don't want to mess with in real life. The fact stays fight between former Intercontinental Champion Ahmed Johnson and around is a known story. Yes, I did talk about that when I read about the real life heat with Ahmed Johnson and Farouk. Interesting, Ahmed Johnson also had trouble with The Rock once in a dispute between the two men almost led to a physical confrontation. The spots. I set up the spots. Speaking of something the rest of Blueprint was about the time the Rock backed Ahmed Johnson down during a heated confrontation of it was a dressing room. And I heard this and I did talk about the spots and the some problem that he had that Johnson confronted. Ahmed was complaining about something and Rock just basically basically, if you want to go, let's go. Ahmed backed down. Nobody stopped anybody that I was there in the dressing room for that. Again, it's a lot of that must do about nothing. But yeah, when you hear the Deal Brown thing, you say, yeah, I can see that Deal Brown is a tough son of a bitch. The Rock is up there in the top five guys you would never want to mess with. Say Chris Hurt. Or that, yeah, could be beast. Fisher also discussed Ahmed Johnson's fight with Theo Brown and revealed that Theo Brown got tired of Johnson pulling on everyone finally to stand up to him. Ahmed Johnson and Theo Brown were in front of the most stories backstage fight of all time. The Godfather revealed that Brown hooked Ahmed Johnson so badly that he and Ronson had to intervene just so that Brown would let him go. Bruce Fisher talked about Ahmed Johnson's cadet completing backstage, got on the Rock's nerves as well. This is something new. Drama Bull decided to give Armstrong a piece of his life. The fight between two men escalated to the point where The Rock was ready for a physical altercation as well. That's about it. I'm going to go on to the next article. The next article is going to be The Godfather. So I'm going to stop share screen this. Um, like, Johnson's ass on backstage fight. Army Johnson didn't recognize Theo Brown and paid the price for it. Speaking with wrestlers who interviews, the Godfather said the most memorable backstage fight he can remember from D'Lo Brown and Johnson. The three men were a part of the Nation of Domination together. A we in 1997, Johnson left the group only 2 months and was replaced 1 week later by Rocky Maivia. Here's what happened when D'Lo and Ahmed fought, according to the Godfather. D'Lo whooped his ass. D'Lo's a real wrestler. He was a collie, and yeah, I heard about this too. Wrestler D'Lo had him hooked so bad and trying to tap out. D'Lo had him hooked so bad that me and Ron Simmons had to tell D'Lo, let him go, because D'Lo Brown was going to break his arm. or something. Was it the stress that deal I was talking about? That was the best one I have ever seen. The Godfather Charles Wright doesn't know why the two were fighting, but it says that Ahmed didn't fit in and nobody could stand him. He had the following. I just remember Dio and him going at it. I don't remember why. Ahmed Johnson, he just didn't get it. He didn't fit it with us either. At the point, everybody couldn't stand him. I'm about the only guy that doesn't have a real nasty things to say about him. I just tell people he didn't get it. That's what I was talking about yesterday, and I said this a couple of times. But we tried to help him, and he just didn't get it. Johnston would finish up with the WWF in February of 1998, dating, citing family reasons for his departure. I already know the real reason because he had enough. He was about to get tied up by a rope and about to get beat up in life. I said this yesterday when I was talking about the racial issues he had to deal with in WWE, and Shawn Michaels, the Cracker, is one of them. Leo Brown currently serves as a one half of the Impact Wrestling commentary team along with Striker. Hakim recently shared his thoughts on Ahmed Johnson, the former champion, took shots at him and Leo Brown during an interview. Can read the world's strongest man. If you please credit the original source with a H/T and link back to Fight Before the transcription. Mm-mm-mm. Now the third particle. Let me stop share screen this, and I'm gonna put my 2 cents. This is, yeah, this is gonna be a similar article like the second. Let me share screen this. No, uh-uh. Anyone that didn't want to listen to Godfather and former Nation of Domination member. WWE Hall of Fame Godfather said Ahmed Johnson did not listen to instructions from other members of the legendary Nation of Domination faction. The Nation of Domination worked together in WWE between November 1996 and November 1998. While some Nation members spent over a year in the group, Johnson was removed after just 2 months in August 1997. The Godfather was asked on its wrestling broadcast about cultural appearance of the Nation of Domination is that the faction was consistently of African American citizens tried to help each other even during Johnson's short-lived spell as a nation member. You know, we was doing it, we was having fun. We wouldn't ain't militants, we really not like that. W- Well, y'all militants in the ring, but in real life, y'all just dancing and shucking and jiving. We're really not like that. We just put us together. It was, just a group of guys doing our own thing. Of course, we took care of one another. We washed each other's backs. We tried to help everybody. We even tried to help Armor Johnson, but he was the only one that didn't want to listen, the Godfather said. Like I said, he didn't get it. Try to help him. The Godfather is not the only nation member who had issues with Armor Johnson. Earlier this year, Mark Henry said that is a bad human being whose credibility is shot after he criticized Diesel Brown's in ring skills. Yep, I'm not gonna read it because I already said what I said yesterday about why he was removed from the Nation of Domination. I'm gonna, yeah, I forgot this. Share this. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. Next, this is gonna be the last one. Mark Henry fires back at Ahmed Johnson. WWE Hall of Famer and former World Heavyweight Champion Mark Henry fired back at Ahmed Johnson in a recent interview with Sportskeeda. The former WWE superstar Johnson called Henry a butt kisser, while also Beal Crown a dangerous worker due to Daniel Dawson incident in 1999. Feeling remorse. It was a botch. And Teddy Long was there on the latest edition of Busted Open Radio. Mark Henry slammed Johnson for his comments about the old Henry and Henry and Deal were and all from what is it integral members of one of the WWE's most important factions, the Nation of Domination. Take a guy like Ahmed Johnson who has never had a good thing to say about him in pro wrestling by anyone. I just want to defend D'Lo Brown, Henry said. Well, it's good that you're defending your boy D'Lo Brown. I can give you that. Because y'all really great friends, y'all homies. He said that in that article, he said that D'Lo Brown was a dangerous and that D'Lo Brown ended Dan Dawson's career where and never spoke to him again. In the Jaws score, never spoke to him again. I speak to Darren all the time. Theo speaks to Darren all the time. Guys, just I'm telling you the truth. This is a bad human being. Henry on to question Johnson's career and noted it was hard to find someone who would say anything good about the former WWE superstar. Your credibility is shot. Henry stated nobody in wrestling will say anything good about this guy since when he was since when for being professional, being on time, working hard, and being able to go with your co-workers, being a kiss ass. We're really going to talk about that again. And are you guys out there that doing a broadcast so thirsty and want somebody on your show so bad that you're taking on the freaking Johnson? God, come on. Do your homework. I have never heard anybody to say anything good about him. Not one time. So before you start trying to tear down David Brown, future Hall of Famer, before you tell them a guy that especially was a world champion, who do you look in the mirror? Your priority is not your showing. Albert Johnson was a huge star for WWE in the 1990s and he became the first black intercontinental champion in history and he beat into the nation dominated before getting kicked out of the stable. Johnson and left WWE in 1998 and retired from professional wrestling in 2003 after being first for WCW and promotions on the independent circuit. If you use any quotes on this article, please credit both Step Open Radio with a slash piece of wrestling. Wow, a bad human being. Oh, he was annoying. Oh, they couldn't take it because of his bad attitude. And those crackers that y'all freaking worship, they do the same thing. They way worse than Ahmed Johnson. It's like we try to help him out because when y'all was a nation of domination, y'all was like helping each other out, and they get it. Well, Ahmed Johnson, we try to help him, but he didn't get it. He didn't understand. He didn't follow instructions. We didn't want him in that group. Yeah, hanging out with racist, hillbilly hick. I mean, I was, staying with one. Mm-mm-mm. Honest. He wasn't a nation. I'm gonna throw him out there. Mm-mm. In a frequent fight, I already know spots wasn't being called. In the real rock, I gotta go back to the article because they known of having a backstage fight with Ahmed. Ahmed complain about something. If you want to go, let's go. Nobody's stopping that one. And the dressing crew, they look out tough son of a bitch. And the nation let tell Dito to try to stop Dito from being an Ahmed Johnson even more than it already is. At the end of Fiend, Ron Simmons had to let D'Lo Brown when he was going in with Ahmed Johnson, put him in a stretcher, and he got on the Rock's nerves as well. The way I see it, that's the other way around. Ahmed Johnson had talked about that problem that the Rock had, the real Rock was no longer here. It looks like a real Rock got on Ahmed Johnson's nerves with that confrontation. It was that that sh- that click saying about his mom sleeping with a white man, and the Rock had denied being black. I heard about that, and in this guy, I forgot his name when I had my other channel. He also talked about this. My God, and the Jones had team up with Flash Funk. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. I think Flash Funk didn't say much bad about Ahmed Johnson the way they did. The Godfather, Corey Godfather, he didn't say some really nasty things about it. It's just that he didn't get it. Mhm. I'm going to read the final article Because I did talk about this yesterday. This is, well, it's already a shocking one. Share screen is. Ahmed Johnson reveals a proposed lynching angle to lead to his WWE exit. WWE wanted the true commissioner to hang Johnson on live TV. This is what he was talking about. And I said this a couple of times, not doing the live. You don't have to dig too far or too long into WWE history to find Panama Angels. The company has allowed, and in most cases even encouraged, to play out on screen. Page using Charlotte's Flair's late brother as a promo elbow, Vince McMahon using a racial slur when Green Johnson and Hamburger T react, and perhaps the most infamous moment of all, Triple H stammering sacked for a corpse while wearing a pain mask. Yeah, back in 2002, where Vince McMahon said, "What up, my nigga?" In 2005, and Charlotte's late brother as a promo, and he was a blood sacrifice. I think Rick Charlotte has something to do with it. They're suspects, so they can go higher in the elevator. Andre Johnson rejects Lindsay Angle, all examples that continue to leave fans wondering how the ideas were approved by so many people. It's almost as if at certain times in WWE's history there was no filter and anyone say yes to almost anything. Whether it was Fist McMahon's belief he was pushing the envelope or wrestlers agreed to anything to make sure they kept their jobs. But Ami Johnson wasn't having it. He don't want to be a part of it. WWE's history of racist and physical images and storylines explained. Uh-huh. Turns out at least one wrestler wasn't willing to do anything to remain a WWE superstar. Ahmed Johnson spoke with WrestlingNews.com recently during which he refused a proposed angle in which he had been hanged from a rope. Hanged, not choked, my bad. Like they did the black men. And Jesus also was hanged on a tree. He did not die on a cross. That was Caesar Borgia. And they think and know in their minds that Jesus, that's not Jesus at all. By the true commissioner continue to him leaving WWE. The thing with the true commissioner was that what they wanted to do, they wanted him to hang me from a rope. Johnson Redfield, you know how lynching is very sort of subject with black people. They wanted to hang me from a rope that just wouldn't happen with me, brother. I will do any angle, but the rope, no. Johnson said he would do anything with any other angle, but the rope, no, no, that's right there is very, very, very racist, very bigoted, and very lynching. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. No. If it did happen, they gonna start complaining. WWE is playing a race card. They've been doing this a whole lot. Been doing it with the angle with the Triple H. That people like you doesn't deserve to be world champion. Do a little spin-a-roni. That's what we do. You do all your spin-a-ronis. Don't fetch me a towel. What you are. You can't compete with people like me. If you're Caucasian, it's a and you competing with another Caucasian, that's competition to them. That's racist. The last thing his sister saw. Johnson overfilled his sister was dying in the hospital at the time and he didn't want one of the things she ever saw to be hanging from a rope on international television. She passed like a day or two after that. After I left, she would have to see me get beat up and hung from a rope before she passed. That an image I was trying to put out, not for her, not for the black kids out there, to anybody. That is going too far. And Ahmed Johnson did not get big, so he did not set his sister to be a blood sacrifice. Let me say it again. Ahmed Johnson did not have his sister to be a blood sacrifice. He didn't get big. He didn't gain stardom. He wasn't the highest level. The black kids. He did the right thing. I'm not doing this racist angle. Uh, not being hung or no, no, that's too far. Racism. WWE currently wasn't advised to running with racist angles at that time. I also know that what was going on between D Generation X and the Nation of Domination and the infamous angle during that rivalry involved DX members dressing as their nation counterparts as segment which includes Saul Montman, Perry and Black. Yeah, he did wear blackface and that Coon Cinema Carey was okay with it. I don't know why. I was entertained, but at the same time, it's racist. Racial, stereotypical, funny y'all faces. As he portrayed Mark Henry, Johnson easily knows McMahon wasn't necessarily the one responsible for the bulk of the racism during that era, pinning it on Shawn Michaels and some of the other boys. And y'all talking shit about yeah, how he got on the Rock's nerves. Uh, how he got on Bill's nerves and had to fight him backstage and had to break out the fight and doesn't really understand and of being a national domination member and he's this bad human being and the original leader said it was a receipt because he was so jealous of another black man knowing that you was the first one. I said this on the live stream a couple of times that you had beat Van Vader and Baltimore to become the WCW Heavyweight Champion, and it was just that one time. He was a champion one time in WCW and it's like, damn, wow. I was looking on Flash Funk, but I just want to know. I won't put you out there, Flash Funk. Put you out there. Farouk the Rock and Mark Henry. Uh, I want to ask the six of y'all one question. Do y'all approve of the angle that this man was planning to do on Ahmed Johnson, getting beat up Lynch and being hung on a rope? And after he get hung on a rope, he would get his ass whipped by those crackers, the truth commissioner. Do y'all ever approve that? Was y'all okay with that? I just want to know from the six of y'all. Spencer wasn't there. God rest his soul. He was a blood sacrifice as well too. Tell me. Do y'all ever approve of this racist angle? And another question, the second question. Um, the second question is why y'all didn't have Ahmed Johnson's back and never spoke about it and never talked of Vince McMahon? I don't want to know from the six of y'all. Since y'all got this hatred towards Ahmed Johnson. I just want to know. Hmm. Do y'all ever went to his office? That's the third question. Y'all ever went to his office and discussed it? I'm just saying. And also, Shad, God bless you, he was a blood sacrifice. Titus and Booker T. Um, didn't stand up for Jordan Miles. Told Shad told him to shut up. Titus said if it is out of culture, it's very inappropriate and it's unacceptable. And Shad, late great Shad was made a deal with the Fushon bargain. He made a bargain with the white man. Titus was in a fraternity, I think off of Summer Five, and I think in Florida State, Booker T spent months in jail, and he was robbing at the job he was working at, Wendy's in Houston, Texas. So the so Farouk, The Rock, Godfather of Mockingbird, I didn't like communicate. I mean, Ahmed Johnson will be in the office. Y'all could have been there as well. So I had to call y'all out. Bad Muffin Ahmed Johnson. You know, y'all counterparts, the crackers, are bad human beings. This McMahon, the Master Mason is wrong. Shawn Michaels and Triple H. And the real Rock, who is no longer here, had issues with Shawn Michaels and Triple H. You see, the clone Rock, he may have the Rock's mannerisms, personality, and charisma and DNA, but hear this, he doesn't function like the real Rock. He's a clone. He had the Rock's mindset, but the real Rock did not squash his beef with Shawn Michaels. He did not squash his beef. Uh-uh. Yeah, but pretending to be the real Rock, he did. They did angles, but never wrestled in the ring. And he said about his grandmother as some Emmy so in I think a South Pacific reason. It was like in because the Rock was 15, this was had to be like the mid. Yeah. Think about it. Think about what I said. So I'm about to take my leave out to the people. Ask that for the culture. Oh yeah. Uh-huh.